Forgotten Sunrise, Chapter 29. Go west, young mare. Sunset had gotten used to the vibrations of the Scouticus's passenger cabin by now. She's gotten a good amount of sleep on both nights that they had spent on their return trip south from the Crystal Empire. It was taking a good deal longer due to the nearly 20 tons worth of cargo that they were towing behind them. She was certain they were going to need snow chains to get out of the snow drifts that surrounded the Crystal Empire. But she had to give credit where credit is due. Sprout and his team at Canterlogic had created one impressive vehicle, and it had taken longer to get up and over the hill, but no chains or magical assistance were required. Most of the space in the trailer they were towing was taken up by crates of books. The framed photographs they had taken from Flash's ancestral home had been carefully wrapped and placed in one of the passenger cabin's compartments under the floor panels. As eager as she was to begin sorting through everything they had taken from the Empire, she also wanted to visit Izzy in Bridlewood. She wanted to see the home the unicorns had created for themselves in however much time had passed, and how they were getting used to magic again. Her thoughts were interrupted by Sprout gently applying the brakes and stopping the truck.
All right.
Sunny began, turning to her and getting up from the passenger seat.
This is the closest we'll get to Bridlewood on the route to Maritime Bay. Are you sure you don't want to have lunch first?
Sunset answered, getting up and making sure her saddlebags were tightened and ready for hiking.
I had a pretty good breakfast, and I'll move faster if I have a snack or something. Okay. Just follow the path straight west, and you'll come to the ravine. Izzy says they've completed the repairs to the bridge. At a good pace, it should take more than a day or so. You have all your equipment?
Sunny asked. Sunset looked over her shoulders and saw that her sleeping bag, tent, and everything needed to set it up were securely fastened to her saddlebags.
Yep, I do believe I'm all set. You said phone signals were getting stronger between towns?
Sunset asked the Earth Pony.
Yeah, your signal might drop out a little bit out there, but it should definitely get stronger as you get closer to Bridlewood. Alright, in that case, I'll be off. I'll try not to be more than a few days. When will you be back in Maritime Bay?
The unicorn asked.
Should be a little bit earlier than last time, because last time, well, you happened. So a late dinner is probably in order if we eat lunch and keep moving at the same time.
Sunny told her.
Gotcha. Okay, have fun sorting through everything, and I'll be back in town soon. Alright, I'll set the magical crates aside until you get back. Take care.
With that, Sunset disembarked onto the grass. Sprout waited until she was a safe distance away, before disengaging the parking brake and resumed their drive south, leaving the unicorn on the rolling green hills. After reunification, one of the first things the three tribes did was create dirt roads to and from their three towns to make wagon and carriage traffic easier and safer, so goods and relics could be exchanged. They had dropped Sunset off right at the road between Bridlewood and Zephyr Heights. The unicorn's current surroundings reminded her of when she came back through the second portal they had discovered on spring break. Daisies as far as the eye could see until the hills rose to what could likely be considered mountains. The new path to Bridlewood retraced the same one Sunny and her friends took before reunification. It included a moderate hike over a mountain pass, and Bridlewood was in the forest on the other side after another few miles of low hills. It wasn't more than a few miles until she saw another pony. A white unicorn headed east towards Zephyr Heights on hoof, carrying camping supplies similar to her own. He greeted her with a curt nod, and the two equines passed each other silently otherwise. Curiously after that, Sunset didn't see any pony else on the path. She guessed that continuous tourism hasn't quite peaked yet, and whoever had decided to relocate to another settlement had probably done so by now. It would probably help if the journey didn't have to be made on hoof. Seeing the sights was nice, as was the exercise, but Sunset knew it wasn't for every pony. And for those that didn't have more than a day or two to get away, this pace of travel simply wasn't feasible. Sunny was right. Without a group to keep together, she could keep a brisk trotting pace. And after a quick granola bar from her saddlebags, she continued on her way west. After cresting a few more hills, the dirt road came to a wooden bridge that crossed a ravine. The bridge looked fairly new, and there was a sign posted just before the crossing on the right side of the road. Sunset approached and read to herself.
Moonbow Bridge. This river crossing is dedicated to Izzy Moonbow of Bridalwood, who hoped to reunite the tribes of Equestria after untold centuries of separation and mistrust. How nice.
Sunset commented as she crossed the bridge, peering down to the river dozens of meters below. On the other side of the ravine, the hills quickly became steeper, and the road snaked around the taller mountain's south face. As the altitude increased, Sunset was finally starting to find herself short of breath, and had to slow her gait as she was now considering where to set up camp for the night and get started on dinner. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, she had reached the west side of the mountain. No doubt she would have a stunning view of the hills and forest below come morning. Finding a suitable clearing, free of flammable brush, she quickly made a stone ring. Then she got a fire going and got her tent set up. She dug into her bags once again and came out with freeze-dried hay cakes, which she added water to and got heated over her campfire. She glanced over to the forest where Bridalwood was nestled, and wondered after this trip, after she had become familiar with each of the tribe's locales, what would be next for her. She had taken Sunny's advice to heart, but sooner or later, that time was going to run out, and she would need some kind of direction to pick up and head off in. She was doubtless that she and Sunny could make quite the archaeological team. They can go to every forgotten corner of Equestria, see what remained, see how much of the long-forgotten past they could piece together. It would no doubt bring more memories to the surface. Some happy, some painful. But providing answers to the rest of Equestria would be worth it. Zephyr Heights had been fun too. She had gone from visiting tourist to headlining performer with Princess Pip in under 48 hours. The concert had been exhilarating and downright nostalgic. She still hadn't forgotten the promise she had made to Swift. She had told Sunny to take her guitar to Canterlogic and have them take a 3D scan of it so they could give the shop owner an idea of how it was constructed. So, what if Bridalwood was just as fun? What if she felt just as much at home with the unicorns as she had felt everywhere else? This sightseeing tour of how Equestria had changed hadn't exactly made the choice of where to settle down the slightest bit easier. The indecisiveness was familiar and unpleasant. It reminded her of how she had felt nearly her entire senior year, as she had to choose whether to stay or go. The choice had been made for her after her Mirror World's counterpart had shown up. So through the portal she had gone after graduation, for good, and she had been thrust forward untold centuries. Gone were the career plans she had made with Princess Twilight. As she finished her dinner and doused her fire, she climbed into her tent. The questions continued to burn in her mind, keeping her from soundly falling asleep. What was she doing here? What was she meant to be? She just hoped her restlessness didn't invite any more unpleasant dreams. What she wouldn't give for Princess Luna's help right about now. You know, that's a good point. Because Luna isn't there, they probably just have to deal with the nightmares. Anywho, let's get on to our well-rested donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Skies, Austin, Rolan, Stu, Hex, Sword Brother, Mordred, Omicron, Lyrae, Rinselect, 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rizal, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancer Crust, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GGF, Murder Princess, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.